Welcome to 1 Billion Rising, GCC's. Woohoo! I'll say a little bit more about what 1 Billion Rising is after you enjoy this fabulous dance. And please sing along or come up and join the dance.
In Kigali, she wakes up. She looks at choice in Hanoi, Natal, Ramallah. In Tangier, she takes a breath, lifts up her voice. In Lahore, La Paz, Kampala, though she's half a world away, something in me wants to say, we are one woman. You cry and I hear you. We are one woman. You hurt and I hurt too. We are one woman. Your hopes are mine, and we shall shine. In Juarez, she speaks the truth. She reaches out, then teaches others how to. In Jaipur, she gives her name. She lives without shame. In Manila, Sultanbul, though we're different as can be, we're connected, she with me. We are one woman. Your courage keeps me strong. We are one woman. You sing, I sing along. We are one woman. Your dreams are mine, and we shall shine. We shall shine.
And one man, he hears her voice, and one man, he fights her fight. Day by day, he lets go the old ways, one woman at a time.
Though she's half a world away, something in me wants to say, we are one woman. Your victories fill us all. We are one woman. You rise and I stand tall. We are one woman. Your world is mine, and we shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine, shine. We shall shine. Shine, shine, shine.
Let's give these dancers a hand. Woohoo! Everyone, welcome to GCC's second annual 1 Billion Rising. My name is Rosemary Freeland, and I coordinate our Women's Resource Center here. Thank you. Before the dancers leave, one more round of applause for them. Woohoo! That's Sharon Arslanian, Meg Van Dyke, Ann Sorvino, and the dancers from all of the dance classes here at GCC. Thank you so much. So, 1 Billion Rising for Justice is a global call to women survivors of violence and those who love them to gather safely in community outside places where they are entitled to justice. This is all about claiming and demanding justice. We gather today at GCC to demand justice and to heal together from the violence that our loved ones, that ourselves have suffered from. It's a call to survivors to break the silence and release their stories, politically, spiritually, outrageously, through art, dance, marches, ritual, song, spoken word, testimonies, in whatever way feels right. I want to give a special thanks to Visioning Justice Rising, a new coalition of violence prevention educators and pro-peacemakers for holding this event sacred. Thank you. Again, thank you to Sharon Arslani and her students and her dance instructors for choreographing that great song. I also want to give a shout out to Jess Woods, who's not able to be here today, but she made these fabulous t-shirts. So again, bravo to Jess. So the United Nations defines violence against women as any act of gender-based violence that results in, or is likely to result in, physical, sexual, or mental harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, coercion, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or in private life. Intimate partner violence refers to behavior by an intimate partner or ex-partner that causes physical, sexual, or psychological harm, including physical aggression, sexual coercion, psychological abuse, and controlling behaviors. Sexual violence is any sexual act or an attempt to obtain a sexual act or other act directed against a person's sexuality using coercion by any person, regardless of their relationship to the victim, in any setting. It includes rape, defined as the physical, forced, or otherwise coerced penetration of the vulva or anus with a penis, other body part, or object. A recent analysis of the World Health Organization with the London School of Hygiene and Topical Medicine and the Medical Research Council, based on existing data from over 80 countries, found that globally 35% of women, that's 1 billion women, have experienced either physical or sexual intimate partner violence or non-partner sexual violence. Most of this violence is intimate partner violence. Worldwide, almost 1/3 of all women have been in a relationship and have experienced physical and/or sexual violence by their intimate partner. In some regions, these statistics are much higher. Globally, as many as 38% of all murders of women are committed by intimate partners. Among the risk factors are the attitudes that are accepting of violence and gender inequality, the unequal position of women relative to men, and the normative use of violence to resolve conflict are strongly associated with both intimate partner violence and non-partner sexual violence. 2014, we need to end the epidemic. And I invite you all to visit Nelquit's table here and get some more information about services, resources available to survivors of violence, resources available to loved ones who know a woman or a child or a man who is a survivor of violence. Part of today is also about healing from the violence in our communities. And so I invite all of you to join us here in a circle, inviting you up to read together the monologue for 2014 written by Eve Ensler, one of the founders of 1 Billion Rising. Again, stand in circle together with us. 1 billion will rise for justice by Eve Ensler.
until the most marginalized are held in the center.
Until the dots are connected.
The silence is broken.
And the story is told.
Until each part of the struggle is integrated and whole.
Until the law is a living, breathing thing.
Until every violence is part of the violence we seek to end.
Until every caste, every race, every sexuality and gender.
Until there is one story.
Until we stop forcing poor women into buildings.
On the verge of collapse or into garbage sites or back alleys to make a meager living.
Until we stop sending raped women home to places where they are.
Where they're raped again.
Until we stop destroying and seizing the land of the indigenous.
Until we honor the women who were murdered and beaten and raped in wars.
In cities, military barracks, factories, refugee camps, homes, churches, in colleges, in schools.
On buses, in marriage beds, in forests, in work fields and offices.
Until we refuse the occupation and excavation of our bodies, fields, resources, and our hearts.
Not with more bombs.
Not with more death.
Not with more pain.
Until each violation is uttered.
And each hurt is shared.
Until the layers of memories
and oppression are uncovered and bared.
Until the laws serve the poorest.
And stops protecting the mighty.
Until all are held by the same standards.
Until women rise in their knowledge of their
values and rights.
Outside courthouses, police stations, government offices, workplaces.
Military courts, embassies, places of worship, and homes.
Until we release our shame, guilt, grief, pain, humiliation, and rage.
Until apologies and reparations are made by governments.
Leaders, husbands, boyfriends, brothers, fathers, priests, mullahs, ministers, uncles, bosses, corporate heads.
Until we refuse to accept anything that does not include all.
1 billion will rise for justice.
Nice. Woohoo! Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in that really powerful bringing together moment. I appreciate it. I want to introduce to you Strong Oak. And Strong Oak will share for us a monologue that she read here several years ago when we joined together for the Vagina Monologues called Crooked Braid.
This monologue is based on interviews by Eve Ensler with women from the Oglala Lakota Nation on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Their stories reflect the challenges that Native women face every day, living in isolation and without resources. According to the United States Bureau of Justice Statistics, the average annual rate of rape and sexual assault among American Indian women is 3.5 times higher than all races. And this is called Crooked Braid and is a synthesis of all the voices of the women there. He wanted to go out. He said to me, "You stay home." I said, "I want to go out." He said, "You have a baby." I said, "It's our baby." I laid the baby down. He probably felt my tension because he was whimpering the baby. I looked up and he slapped me, my husband. Not a blast that knocks your eyes blue. That came later. It was a smack, a hard domestic smack. He looked at me. He was smiling. I couldn't believe it. He was smiling. He slapped me again. His dad was vicious to his mother. I saw him smile. What was that? He was the nicest person. He had long black hair, combing his long hair. When he made love, it got loose before. He took me to dinner, made me go out with his boss. I didn't want to go. He kicked me under the table, told me to look happy, told me to smile. I smiled. He kicked me again, asked me who was I trying to fuck, asked me to stop coming on to everyone. I stopped smiling. He kicked me again. This went on and on. Outside the restaurant, he grabbed my hair and pulled me down to the curb. It had been snowing. He buried me in the snow. He pounded me in the gutter. The snow was melting. It was sloppy and mud. My hair felt like it was bleeding. I ran to, well, he was drinking. I was too. I must have blacked out. I woke up in the hospital after 5 brain surgeries. My hair was gone. They shaved it off. I had to relearn to talk and move my arms. It took me 4 months to remember how to cook breakfast. I remember putting the egg in the frying pan with the bacon. I knew the egg felt right. I just didn't remember to crack it open. Just the egg in the frying pan in its shell. My head was bald. After 18 years, he beat me. In the morning, when he was so nice again, I would braid his long hair. I would take my time, like I cared so much, and I would do it perfectly crooked. I would make the hairs so they would stand up all crazy-like. Then he'd go, forgetting that the bruises on my face were his handprints. He'd walk all cocky in the street, all macho in the road, but his braid would be so crooked and look so stupid and wrong. This shouldn't have made me that happy. It really just shouldn't have made me that happy. Heard that he was out with a woman, making love, and she was fluffing his hair when he was wild on top of her. He came home much later and his hair was braided up, all right and tight. He passed out from drinking. Then I got up with scissors as he snored and slowly walked to him and just cut the braid off, completely off. I put it in his hand so that when he woke up, he screamed, "What the fuck? I am going to kill you." And he jumped up, but I had tied his shoes together so he couldn't run. I didn't go back to him for 3 years until I knew his hair had grown back. I didn't want to have sex with him. He was drunk. I was just a piece of meat to him, a big hole. I tried to pretend I was asleep. He elbowed me, jerked me, pulled me up. I remember thinking, just get it over with. He was soft and kept pumping and pumping until I got sore. I said I didn't feel good. He said, "Well, who were you with? Was he bigger than me? Did you like it? You're like a mouse with a lion. You have to move fast to the door." He picked me up like I was a rag. His eyes were numb. I could hear my son screaming. His mouth was open and his tonsils, I could see his tonsils. My husband beat the shit out of me. He wrapped my long black hair around his hand and jerked my head. I tried to get my son. "That's not your son," he said, holding my hair in his hand. "That's not your son anymore. Now he calls me in the middle of the night weeping. He didn't mean to beat his wife. He didn't mean to batter her. He's suicidal. He knows what his mother went through, but he can't stop my son. They took our land. They took our ways. They took our men. We want them back." So, this leads... These experiences of Native women that are still going on today, people who do advocacy work like I do at Nelquit, some of them carry pistols in the bush, they tell me, because there is no support for them in addressing the violence. So it's really important, and the Visioning Bear Intertribal Coalition formed from doing a needs assessment in our own community. Before we began the Visioning Bear Circle, folks didn't feel comfortable coming to Nelquit. It really took me like 10 years to get that program going, but now it's really taken off, and we are like forging our own way, using our own community traditions, and we are developing a curriculum called Walking in Balance with all our relations. And I want folks, there's a couple of people from my community here. So Shelley and Nikki, could you stand so people can see? These are women that are involved in the Visioning Bear Intertribal Coalition. And you'll be seeing us around because we have a multicultural approach, and you know, in April when we have the 2-day event here for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we're going to be doing a circle on gender equality and healthy relationships that we hope that many of you will attend. And you know, it's based on our own traditions, but we really believe it's pre-colonization, but we believe a lot of the values are something that we could all hold. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Strong Oak. I want to now introduce Robin Brooks. Will come up and share a couple of poems that she's written. Robin is a published author, and her book is called The Blooming of the Lotus.
Hi. The full name of my book is The Blooming of the Lotus, A Spiritual Journey from Trauma into Light. It is about the process of my healing from the sexual violence in my childhood. It's a story of hope and victory, and a resource for all trauma survivors, especially women, and for the healers, educators, and legal professionals who impact their lives. I will read 2 poems. The first is the first poem in the book, and the second comes towards the end of my healing process. My heart moves to the sound of tears not fallen, waiting for the emptiness to find its river out. The hollow drum of my insides echoes with the warning of a hurt so deep I am lost. Effigies of horror burned. I tear at my skin so the blood runs, so I may feel this pain and let the weeping begin. At least then I will know myself alive. Thank you. Who I can be. As I learn once again to find the way that is right for me, to stand and walk on this earth. I let fall away how I was forced to stand and walk as a child. My body was not my own. Like a river torn from its natural bed, to bend and twist according to the rules of men. Now, like the river, when at last given permission to follow again its own authentic course, I too am learning how to make my body my own. What I am doing these days is moving me along this path. I do something. I acknowledge what I do and that I do it well. I breathe this in, and then I rest, even for a few moments. I speak to myself the words a mother and father would have spoken, but not mine. As I do this ritual, every time, I am inviting myself to be and recognize who I am. I am allowing the fullness of myself to fill the space that I inhabit. I am feeling safe enough to let happen the growing and then forming of who I came here to be. The chains have fallen away. There is no one forcing anymore. There is only my own voice claiming that this is what I need, and then discovering in those moments of breath and appreciation and rest, the wholeness and possibility of who it is my right to be. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us. Strong Oak is going to drum us out.